Hi, dear colleagues. Welcome to this presentation of the VeriDevOps project. My name is Dr. Andrei Sadovic, and I'm technical coordinator of this new VeriDevOps project. So I welcome you to visit our website to get more details. This presentation is about basics of our project, the basic concepts, and our motivation for this project. Right. So I also would like to thank partners of the project, Mälardalen University from Sweden, Soft Team, ABBA Academy, eKerlan, Montimage, Fagor, and ABB. So together we will develop specific technologies to cope with various security vulnerabilities at um, design and development and runtime. So I also would like to thank Horizon 2020 program from European Commission to support and fund our project. Okay, let's begin. So what about the challenges and motivation? So from various sources, we see that number of vulnerabilities has grown dramatically since 20 years, right? From 2012 to 2020, we had number of vulnerability detected has actually doubled, right? So it represents a lot of potential vector for attacks for our system that can cause damage and harm to end users. Right, and as we can see, many different sectors has been affected. And so like critical manufacturing, commercial facilities, energy, very much affected. And so in our consortium, we have two companies, ABB and Fagor. ABB is from manufacturing. They manufacture cranes for maritime ports and many other equipment. Fagor is for dealing with automating production lines. So these companies also may be quite affected by these vulnerabilities, and so we need some technologies to automate and decrease time for detecting and protecting from vulnerabilities. So as we can see from the various reports also that in the network vulnerabilities, we have only 2% of critical or high risk vulnerabilities, while in application level, application level vulnerabilities are low in the total number of vulnerabilities. But among those application vulnerabilities, there is a high degree of highly critical, high risk vulnerabilities. And we think those vulnerabilities has to be dealt at development time with specific checks and tests that would be automatically generated to prevent those vulnerabilities. Right. So to give you a bit more evidence from the industry and various reports, what we see. So the experts say that treating those vulnerabilities and find remedy may take a long time, like 10 days, or on average organization close discovered vulnerabilities in 67 days. Many do not even scan for these vulnerabilities, and like around 60% of organizations have legacy systems that they can no longer support and patch over the vulnerabilities. Most companies feel that they are disadvantaged and they rely on manual effort and process to patch the software. And 2/3 of all companies say that it's too difficult for them to correctly prioritize the vulnerabilities and detect those who are the most harmful, potentially most harmful and urgent for them to treat. So to say there is a long delay for treating that because it um, relies on manual process for detecting and patching software. So what we want to do is to automate this process. So we see, okay, the security vulnerability omnipresent in the industry, and the number of those vulnerabilities growing tremendously. Um, so these vulnerabilities can cause a lot of losses, and we have multiple examples. You can see that from various media. Yeah, what the current state of the practice says that these security mechanisms are very hard to retrofit into systems. So, and they has to be built in during development time and has to support the fast pace of current development. So startups developing software quite fast. Many huge companies like Amazon, Facebook, Google, but all of these internet giants um, regular update their sites, and the vulnerabilities can sleep quite easily inside of this in the production due to huge use of CI/CD. And so the security mechanism shall support this continuous integration, continuous delivery cycle in development. So to illustrate the concept, what we have right now, we have from one side developed systems that are integrated and delivered in continuous manner. We have the huge number of vulnerabilities popping up, and security experts, developers have to address them. And this process is manual, right? So there is a bench of experts that whose job is to read all these vulnerability reports, read the requirements from security, read the standards, and make sure that this is addressed at development time, at the design and the code, but also in operations to secure the perimeter of the systems. Right. What we want to effectively automate those processes. And this comes from various innovations in the field. So first of all, what we would like to base our automation with automated verification, testing, protection based on formal specification. We want to formalize the requirements, right? Detection of security requirements, formalize it, variable textual information coming from user standards, from repositories such as common vulnerability, exposure repositories, weaknesses repositories, attacks vector repositories. And with these formal specifications, we would like to automatically trigger test design checks, and also automatically configure the operation protection mechanism like vulnerability scanners, various deep packet analysis techniques and routers, so rule-based monitoring systems. So with that, we think that we can drastically improve or decrease time to detect and time to prevent the vulnerabilities. We have thought about some small presentations about various innovations. First of all, the innovation comes from using natural language processing in extracting, so understanding in text coming from users and standards, where it actually can be formalized. So what kind of entities it has and how these entities can be translated in specific rules, in formal specification languages, so that we can use that to create or query various development artifacts like code or design or architecture to left shift all the prevention mechanisms. So to identify specific patterns for security requirements, specific automated tests that we can trigger when the requirement comes from the user standard or new vulnerabilities detected, so that with that we can model check our design and generate specific test cases that would detect presence of those vulnerabilities in the system under test, right? So, and again, on operation times, we would configure our protection mechanisms to detect all unusual on not specified behavior of the system, different events, and trying to prevent and try to figure out the root cause of those events, so that we can protect our system more effectively. So to say our mission is to create methodology, improve drastically automation of the protection and at operation times, preventing security issues at development time, right? And that comes through three um, 4 different innovations, like formalizing security requirements, generating trace monitors, locating root cause of vulnerabilities, and identifying security flaws in the code and design, so that we would drastically reduce time to detect, the time to prevent vulnerabilities. Okay, so now actually we quite in the beginning of our project, we started with analyzing the requirements from our end user industrial companies like ABB and Fagor, and with specific experiments with baseline technologies we currently have in our portfolio. And we will be happy to share with you our results through our development. And we hope by the next time we'll come with nice demonstrations of how all these technologies work. I would actually invite you to subscribe to our website and various social media channels, and to learn more about VeriDevOps project at veridevops.eu. And if you have any questions or any requests or any ideas for possible collaboration, please don't hesitate to contact me at andrei.sadovik at softeam.fr. So I thank you very much for your attention, and I hope you enjoyed this presentation, and I really hope to hear from you back very soon. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.